The HOA president tried to unlock my front door with a so-called master key, while my Marine son was inside. Minutes later, cops were on my lawn. Neighbors were filming with their phones, and Karen was screaming that she'd been assaulted. That was the day a petty HOA dispute turned into an all-out war. Acti. The spark. My name's Frank. I'm in my mid-40s, a mechanic by trade, widower, and I moved into this neighborhood looking for peace after my wife passed. Just me, my house, and my old truck Bessie. That truck is more than metal to me. It's memories. Late nights working on it with my boy Leo. The smell of grease on our hands. The thing that kept me sane when grief almost swallowed me whole. Leo, my son, just got back from a tour with the Marines. Solid, steady, built like stone, but still my kid at heart. He was home on leave, helping me fix up the place. The neighborhood itself seemed fine when I first moved in, but then Karen Miller became HOA president. Picture it. Mid-50s, blonde bob, pearls, and a face that looks permanently pinched, like she just smelled something sour. She ran the HOA like it was her personal kingdom. Every mailbox, every lawn ornament, every little thing had to go through her clipboard. At first, I thought, whatever. I'll keep my head down, follow the rules, avoid the politics. But Karen and her husband Richard, they had other plans. They hated my truck. Every week, a new violation notice showed up. Paint not compliant, tires too big, oil leaking lies, all of it. Richard especially wanted it gone. I could see it in his eyes. He wanted Bessie for himself, or maybe just wanted to break something I loved. Then came the day everything boiled over. I was at the shop when I got a frantic call from Leo. His voice was calm, but I could hear the tension. "Dad, you need to get home now." When I pulled up, squad cars were lined up in front of my house, lights flashing, a small crowd of neighbors whispering and holding up their phones, and in the middle of it all, Karen clutching her arm, screaming to the cops that she'd been attacked. Leo stood tall on the porch, arms crossed, face like stone. I rushed up. "What happened?" Karen shrieked. "Your son assaulted me. I have the right to inspect this home. I'm HOA president. I used my master key, and he shoved me." Leo's jaw tightened. "She tried to walk into our house without permission. I stopped her." "That's it." Karen's voice got louder. He laid hands on me. The cop raised his brow. "Ma'am, did you have a warrant to enter?" She sputtered. I don't need one. HOA rules." Leo pulled out his phone. I recorded everything. He pressed play. On screen, Karen jamming a key into our lock. Him stepping in front, her swinging her clipboard at him, and him gently but firmly pushing her back out onto the porch. The cop's eyes narrowed. Karen's face went pale. Richard tried to jump in, but the officer shut him down. Karen stormed off that day, but not before hissing at me, "This isn't over." And I knew she meant it. Acti. Escalation and the breaking point. After that, the floodgates opened. Violation after violation poured in. Bessie was targeted constantly. Paint color, tires, noise, imaginary leaks. The fines jumped from $200 to $300 until suddenly I had a stack totaling over $500. They threatened lien, foreclosure. I went to an HOA meeting, thinking maybe, just maybe, I could reason with them. I brought receipts, photos, proof my truck was fine. I spoke calmly, showed the facts. Karen just leaned back in her chair, tapping her pen, that smug smile plastered across her face. Richard sat beside her, arms folded, nodding along like her personal bodyguard. When I finished, Karen cleared her throat. "The board has already decided. The fines stand." The gavel came down. I stood there, humiliated, while the room nodded like sheep. That night, I sat on my porch, staring at Bessie in the driveway. My chest ached. Maybe Karen was right. Maybe I was just clinging to the past. Maybe it wasn't worth dragging my son into this fight. I whispered to myself, what if I just sell her? Get rid of the problem. For the first time, I felt beaten. Leo sat beside me. He didn't say anything at first, just stared at the truck with me. Then he said, "Dad, she's not fighting you over the truck. She's fighting you because she thinks she can control you. Are you gonna let her?" I didn't answer. He looked at me, steady. "You taught me that some fights are worth it. This is one of them." Those words snapped me back. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't crazy. And I sure as hell wasn't going to let Karen and Richard steal my peace, or my memories, or my freedom. That's when I decided if they wanted war, I'd fight on my terms. I started digging, with the help of my brother Dave, who knew a thing or two about contracts, and our neighbor Carl, who notices everything. We uncovered a scheme. The HOA was working with a company called Executive Contracting Solutions, owned by Karen's cousin. They'd slap homeowners with bogus violations, then force them to fix it using that company at inflated prices. The whole thing was a scam. I gathered everything: photos, invoices, testimonies from neighbors who'd been shaken down. I finally had ammo. Act 3. The climax. The trap was set. I pretended to cave. I reached out, told Richard maybe I'd be willing to settle, offered him $5,000 cash to make the fines go away. He took the bait, set a meeting at an abandoned construction site, told me to bring the money. But thanks to Carl's snooping, I knew their real plan. They wanted me there so they could destroy Bessie. They had crowbars, sledgehammers ready to make an example out of me. What they didn't know, Leo and I had already rigged the site with cameras and floodlights. We had neighbors ready to witness. And we tipped off the cops. That night, Richard and Karen pulled up with a contractor buddy. They circled my truck, laughing, talking about how they'd fix this little problem once and for all. Richard raised his crowbar. That's when I hit the switch. Floodlights blazed. The whole site lit up like a stadium. I stepped forward, Leo at my side, phone in hand, recording. Smile for the camera. Neighbors appeared from the shadows. Phones raised, live streaming. Karen shrieked, "Turn that off!" But it was too late. The cops rolled in, sirens cutting the night. Officers jumped out, confiscated the tools, the documents, the cash. Richard tried to bolt, got tackled. The contractor folded immediately, spilling every detail about the scam. Karen stood frozen, pale, her kingdom collapsing around her. The officers slapped cuffs on Richard and Karen. Fraud, extortion, attempted property damage, conspiracy, the whole list. And just like that, the tyrants of the HOA were done. Closing line. Bullies thrive on fear and silence, but the second you shine a light, their power crumbles.